to Bourbon Taste-Offs, playoff brackets of the best whiskeys. Join us in our season-long quest to find our tastiest bourbon. And here is the bracketology of our last 6 months of taste-offs. We are halfway done with the 4-quarter year. We are anxious to find what our next 2 quarterly winners are. We're narrowing it down from 192 bottles to just 1. Follow along to find out what our tastiest bourbon is. Cheers. And just a reminder, you can listen to our content on Apple Podcasts, Podbean app, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. And you can watch our content at YouTube and Rumble. Hello, thank you for joining us on Bourbon Taste-Offs. This is episode number 45, and in this episode, we are tasting a Hard Truth episode. The bottle lineup in this episode is, in glass 1, the Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye Chocolate Malt. It is a straight rye whiskey, barrel strength at 114.8 proof. In bottle 2 is the Bottled and Bond 4-grain bourbon. It's a straight bourbon whiskey, mash bill number 4 at 100 proof. In glass 3 is the Caramel Malt. It is also a straight rye whiskey, barrel strength, and is 116.6 proof. In glass 4 is the Double Oaked straight rye whiskey, finished in new charred oak barrels at 106.9 proof. So to start it out, I want to get a Hard Truth joke in here. So you got 3 old elderly gentlemen sitting on a bench, and it's obviously a hard truth that when you get older, your functions don't function as well. So the first guy is saying, man, I just wish I could urinate a full stream like I used to instead of dribbling and drabbling. And the second guy's like, oh, I have no problem with that. My problem is I'm plastering the back of the toilet every time I sit down.
Too much power.
Right. I just want a nice solid something there, you know. And third guy's, oh man, I wake up every morning, 7:30, urinate fine. At 7:35, take a nice dump. And the other two are like, well, what's the problem then? He's like, well, I get out of bed at 9.
Oh man, that's a hard truth.
That is a hard truth. And I'm one of your hosts. I'm Todd.
I'm Justin.
I'm Adam.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Josh.
We got a couple new faces here. We've got Justin next to me. What's your story with bourbon?
Very limited experience. I have a lot of friends that like bourbon, so I've had some tastings of stuff, but I'm not as well versed as they are.
Okay.
What's your liquor of choice?
Gin. I love gin. But the good thing about gin is they make it because they're waiting for their bourbon stage.
That's right. Castle and Key makes some good gins.
They make really good gin.
I just tried it today. At
lunch. Yeah,
for lunch.
And what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good.
Do you know which one of their gins it was? They make seasonal.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Harvest.
Oh, so be the
Harvest
fall.
gins.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I was actually surprised. I saw the bottle, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, we got Castle and Key gin." Or he's like, "Oh, we got a good gin over here." And I was like, "I didn't know Castle and Key made a gin."
Yeah.
And then like poured it over, and they're like, "Oh, try it." You liked it?
He gave a good pour too.
They give good pours there.
I was
Yeah.
just like, woo! All
Nice,
right.
nice. And then Dave's here with us as well. Who's new?
Yeah, I'm new. I got into bourbon probably, actually because my Josh here is one of the first couple people that started getting me into bourbon. One of my big first experiences was actually a road trip down to Kentucky. We hit the Bourbon Trail. Tried a lot of really awesome bourbons, and I've kind of been on the bourbon trail ever since. So, what was that, 5 years ago?
Yeah, 2020 September. So Matt
Was he there with Billy?
No, that was the year after. Year after that, but that was the first distillery that we did is Willet.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool. And then we had done Angel's Envy. So we had to hit up a couple distilleries, and that was in 2020 when things were kind of shut down a little bit.
Bardstown.
Oh, yep, I forgot. Yep, we went to Bardstown.
Matt almost bought that $300 taste.
Oh yeah, we had
just the tasting.
Matt
Really?
Yeah, my buddy got a couple of signed bottles.
Real close. You got some really good stuff.
They do have good stuff at Bardstown, for sure.
It was really good.
Well, welcome. We're going to get this thing going. Justin, you're next to me, so I'll have you roll. And what we do is we just kind of roll this dice to see what's going to go against one.
All right.
So if you want to grab that, it's a 3-sided die. So we're going to have it. Whoa. It says 1, so it'll be 2, so it'll be 1 against 2. So this is a playoff style bracket. So we're going to taste 1 and 2 against each other, find the winner, and then taste 3 and 4 against each other, find the winner on that side, and then the winners will go off against each other. And that's how we'll come up with the winner of this episode of The Hard Truth. So we'll start with a cheers. Thank you, everybody. It's going to be kind of everybody gather. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Yeah. Virtual.
It's a long table
Virtual,
today.
like-
Yeah, it was virtually. I was told recently. I got to tell you this in a second.
Sure. It's got a pleasant nose.
It's an interesting color. It's more yellowy, which is kind of different.
Yeah.
It has a burn that sets in. It doesn't kick right away. It kind of slowly. It's fading away fairly fast, but it does get pretty spicy pretty quick.
Yeah.
So was this in New York? We just went recently to New York this last year, and somebody was telling us that when you cheer somebody, you have to make sure that you're making eye contact with everybody. Otherwise, you're wishing yourself like 7 years of bad sex.
Oh.
So
wow.
yeah, I mean it's very
That'd be
important,
horrible.
really important.
So no one blink.
So,
No one blink. Just
This-
big eyes.
Yeah.
Dave, I thought you were going to tell the story about how we were on the way here, and Dave was telling us all. He's like, "Guys, something smells weird here," and he was able to pick out that my buddy in the front seat who was driving had put different hair gel on, and I was like, "Oh, dude, like this is perfect for the podcast." So,
Yeah.
So Dave, what do you smell?
Well, number one, like Todd had mentioned, has a very nice subtle scent to it. Number two is a little more alcohol-y. I'm pulling out of that. That's the biggest thing. I haven't tasted number two yet. So
Right.
We're gonna
Well,
see how
you're
it goes.
sprinting. I'm crawling.
Yeah, you are sprinting. We'll let everybody have a chance to kind of talk about one, see
sure.
what they kind of have to
Yeah.
say about it.
My thought on number one here is that the scent is very nice.
Yeah.
It's very, very mellow, and like I was saying at first, the heat comes in not immediately. It's like a short delay, and then gets pretty hot.
Yeah.
And fades off from there. So
And for transparency, just so everybody gets to kind of know what I know about them, there's 3 straight rye whiskeys in here and 1 straight bourbon whiskey, which if it's a straight rye, it's going to be over 51% rye.
Sure.
And then the bourbon, obviously, is going to be over 51% corn.
So that makes a bit more sense now.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I'm not opposed to the rye. It's one of the things that, fun fact for any of you bourbon drinkers out there, which is most likely everybody watching this, ryes are more sought after in the fitness world because of their lower sugar content.
Interesting.
So
So it's
you're-
a
if you're
fitness
looking to
drink.
keep your physique
Yeah,
in there. It's for working out too. It's a workout.
So it's
fitness.
not only so bourbon.
health-minded.
So rye is not only a vegetable.
Yes.
It is also
It's
Powerade.
very health conscious. Very health conscious.
What about you, Justin? What did you gather out of one?
I liked one. I thought it smelled really good. I don't normally like the smell, but it had I don't know, almost cinnamon-like kind of smell to me. Same with the taste. Kind of got like what Dave had said about, they get that little burn, but it's a good burn. When I'm doing shots, I like the old smoky mango habanero shots. So I like that little bit of burn. But it was really tasty. I liked it.
Awesome. Adam?
Yeah, okay. So after looking at it, I got that yellowy, ambery kind of color on it, which is kind of nice, especially, looking through the sun this way. I'm usually facing this way, so I get a little sun action, which kind of is nice. But on the nose, I'm getting it's a little bit floral and almost has like a dusty grain kind of smell, which is usually kind of nice when you get into it, and it kind of helps get you more towards like that kind of like you were saying, like a rye kind of flavor on that one. And then it tastes definitely rye, but I'm getting a lot of like the dark cocos, like a cocoa powder kind of action off of it, a little bit of baking spice, but not a lot. And watch this be the bourbon. But this is kind of what I'm getting off it. I feel like it's about proof neutral.
Okay.
So like I think it's kind of somewhere in there, maybe.
I'm getting a little more of a proof, but I'm getting a kind of a malted candy in a way. So I'm getting like a candied malt flavor, but it's tasty.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was just kind of thinking there was another scent I was picking out of there that I almost thought almost like a chocolatey, but it wasn't, like almost like a powdered chocolate. And then when you said malt, like malt ball is what I think, and I'm like, that tracks for me. I'm picking up on that scent for sure.
Awesome. Gonna go over to 2. And we had. Oh, I thought Matt was in the background.
We actually have a live audience today. Yeah, there's a live audience.
Not just Chewy this time.
Right.
Usually it's Chewy talking to us the whole time.
No kidding. Don't get him started.
Matt or Chewy?
This one, to me, seems more neutral proof.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think it's the other one is definitely rye. This one, a little more. I don't know. Muted is not the right word. It's consistent.
It does hold a very consistent path
Yes.
throughout.
Nice. I think it lingers, and which is a good thing for me.
Yeah. Well, heat is one of the biggest things that I always come to. So, like, how fiery, how peppery does it get your tongue and your taste buds,
Yeah.
And so that's a big one that I look at when I'm, picking the ones that I like more. Number one, I would say definitely was higher on the, that spice that kicked out at me. I'd put it like a 7 out of 10. This one's real mild, actually. Real low end, like a 3 out of 10, if I were to think about it that way.
What do you think, Todd?
I think Josh, you hinted that it, first one seemed more like a rye. This one maybe wasn't. If I were to guess, I would say that number 2 is more of like a 100 proof bottle and bond. And Chewy agrees with me too.
He likes the 100 more.
Yeah, I was just thinking more of like a bottle and bond type situation, maybe more of a bourbon over a rye. But yeah, that's where I
Is
was
there a
going.
BIB in here?
There is actually.
Okay.
So proof equal.
Yeah.
Yeah, neutral proof. I think I'm getting that. This one does
BIB.
have. This one feels a little bit bottled in bond.
Bottle in bond. That's a new term for me. So I don't get to hang out with Josh as much as I'd like. If I did more, I would know more about bourbon. But
Okay. Anybody wanted to let him know what the bottle and bond is?
Was it bottle and bond's got to be following all the rules of bourbon? So it's the a new fresh oak barrel, right? It's got to be at least 4 years old.
Well, different things can be bottle and bond, so it doesn't have to be a bourbon.
Right. Okay. So, but it's aged in a bonded warehouse,
Yes.
and it's at least 4 years old.
Yes.
And if it's a bourbon, it's 51% corn.
Correct.
I did remember that element of bourbon has to be 51 or more % corn. I do remember that. So
Yeah.
bottle
So
and bond,
the main parts, it has to be 100 proof. It cannot vary on the proof at all.
higher or lower.
Or
It has
lower.
to be like
Has to be
Oh,
100
and it
proof.
can't go into it can't come out at over 120, correct? There's
Like bottle and bond is
Look-
exactly.
no, I mean come out of the barrel.
You're thinking bourbon rules. Like
Oh, I
bottle
thought
and
that was
bond.
the part of the bottle of the bond where it can't come out of the barrel.
No, that doesn't matter as long as it's presented at 100 proof and it's got to be aged in a government warehouse, supervised warehouse for at least 4 years. It can be higher, but no
can be more than 4.
no less. And it's got to come from one distillery in one distillery season. So those are the rules
Okay.
of bottle and bond.
Okay.
So part of this was initiated, back in the 1800s, and the people were essentially saying this is whiskey, giving people stuff, and then they were dying and getting sick at it.
geez.
Yeah.
So that's when the government came in and said, all right, we're going to give special stickers for people to put on the bourbon that is, comes to all these qualifications. And in my experience, like bottle and bond is presented like a lot of times. It's actually like almost like the perfect type of bourbon. It's
Like a
not-
gold standard almost.
Well, yeah, it's not too
of how the product came out, whether
Right.
it's flavored or hinted with what, but the finished product would be a gold standard level.
Well, I love it.
Yeah.
So I find
Of what
80,
bourbon is
80
supposed to
proof. Yeah, I find 80 proof almost a little bit too light. 120 proof, depending on the bourbon, is a little bit hotter. But like the right in the middle, it's I could just put it in a glass and you take a sip. And
Does this only pertain to U.S. bourbons, or is it a worldwide standard?
That's a good question.
Oh, good question.
As far as I know,
If it's
bourbon bottle and bond
bottle
is
and
only
bond.
a U.S. Stipulated situation
Yeah.
because it's a U.S. government bonded warehouse that it has to
Right.
stay in.
Okay.
So great question though.
And then the first bottled and bond, I had to double check it to make sure, is widely considered to be Old Forester. Is the first one they considered being the first ones for bottled and bond.
Oh, that's a fun
I
fact.
think it was the E.H. Taylor.
I don't know. I just
Colonel
looked it
E.H.
up.
Taylor actually was the person responsible for.
Yeah.
What are
the
you bet?
bottle and bond.
What are you going to bet?
Oh,
Oh, he had it ready to go. He had it queued up. I love it.
Really?
Adam on point, man.
because Brown Foreman was the doctor that was, or he was friends with the doctor that took care of Louisville.
Okay.
During Prohibition, and they wrote the letters for everything. Having transparency as a distillery, I believe, would be E.H. Taylor, which is when he'd have the trains come in and everyone would be dressed like medical people, so they knew that they wouldn't be putting any like tobacco spit or moonshine in their
Right.
stuff, and that was his big component, just having a clean product. But I'm like,
I thought Colonel E.H. Taylor was the one that brought it to Congress to have it passed. So I'm surprised that he would actually go to Congress, have it passed, and then have a different company actually be the first to have a bottled in bond. But maybe, and I'll just put it up on our little fact sheet here.
Right. I just remembered from the distillery tour there, because everyone in Kentucky, right, their first one's this. They're like, oh, we're doing this the longest, right?
Yeah,
and then,
right.
But I couldn't remember because when I stood up and I was looking at your hoodie, I was like, oh yeah, like I thought it was the thing, so I looked it up. And
Okay, thank you.
but yeah, internet.
Love being proven wrong.
Yeah, and then
And I'm probably wrong.
We'll find out.
Say we're gonna fact check this.
Probably
We
it
are.
was,
Wait,
it was, it was probably
you know what?
Elmer
Hey,
T.
you know what?
Lee
You know
in the warehouse
Yeah,
with
right?
the candlestick.
You know what the answer actually is? Bourbon. Bourbon is the
There we
answer.
go.
Bourbon is the answer.
Well, there's going to be a real long episode if we don't start picking. So
Yeah.
if we let's
Well,
kind of get to
one
it.
more characteristic I
Sure.
would say that just again you think about how you taste things. It's also through smell. I don't think the scent of this one is as pleasant. I think I mentioned it before. Sorry, I was jumping the gun. I was trying to get us fast, right? But this it almost is like a. I figured it out. It smells more like lacquer thinner. It's
okay.
or like rub more of like a.
I would say more of a grain.
Sure.
I'm sensing more of a grain kind of profile with the nose, but
Sometimes I get that weird bug spray smell I keep telling you
yeah,
about.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I actually, who starts the voting?
You do.
You can.
I'd go number two. I go number
two?
two on this one.
Okay.
I'm
Why is that?
the taste. I like the way it lingered longer. I'm not against heat. 7. I'd kind of put it at a 7-8 for number 1, and that's maybe a little hotter than I would want it for something to sip on real casually and enjoy. So yeah, I little lower heat, and the flavor lingered on my tongue a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I just got to taste it a little bit more.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
like that. What about you, Justin?
I would go number 1. I like number 1 a lot. I thought it was a lot tastier. Number 2, like I don't drink a lot of like bourbons, so it almost reminded me more of the bourbons that I normally drink and try, and I'm not a fan of. And number 1 is probably the most different bourbon I've had yet, and I like it.
That's awesome. Love the perspective.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
If I were to pick, I'm going to make this interesting. I think obviously it's a tiebreaker so far, but we've got 3 more people to pick. I'm going to agree with Justin that I kind of like number 1 as being a little fuller bodied, fuller taste. I mean, this is the first taste of the day, so it is kind of tough to kind of dive into. However, I'm getting like some chocolatey notes to it.
Yeah.
And so I'm a fan, and I'm thinking it's a rye, but
And that does really come out in the smell of that one
Yes,
too.
yeah.
So.
I'm gonna go number 2. I think it kind of drinks a little bit softer and smoother, probably because it's my just getting my mouth warmed up, my palate ready to go. But like as of like if I had to pick right now between the two of them, I think that one might be a little bit more harsh than like I'm currently sitting ready for.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I'm gonna go to number 2.
Oh boy,
Awesome.
tiebreaker.
Something about one I just didn't. There's like a little flavor in there that I just wasn't the biggest fan of. I thought it was pretty good for a rye. Number 2, I think, leaves a little bit to be desired. It could have a little more flavor, but was consistent end to end. And I think for me, it's more that there is an aspect of one that I wasn't a big fan of. So I'm ended up with 2.
all right, here's the 2.
Number 2. Yay!
All right, we got 1. So then we go over and try 3 and 4. And comparing these two, it looks like 4 is maybe the darkest one. Is anybody seeing the difference in color? I know, just looking over at Dave's, it looks
so you can
like
see 'em.
4 is darker.
Just slightly, but they're both actually darker than 1 and 2.
Then 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
4's got more of an orangey, ambery kind of color than 3.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, 1 and 2 were both significantly more yellow than these two.
They all remind me, that scene in Jurassic Park where they find the mosquito in the
Oh, yeah.
mine?
Oh, and the
Oh,
amber?
and that yeah.
The amber color, that's what they all, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool color to just like when you're just looking through it at
That's-
things. Totally off topic, but
No.
No, that's on
No.
topic. I love
Yeah.
it. Man, we're learning a lot. Learning that fitness and Jurassic Park. These are
Yeah.
great references.
I mean, who doesn't
Yeah.
love dinosaurs?
No kidding. Yeah. And you can come up with some dinosaur bourbons as well. I mean,
there you go.
They can sit and age.
Do they make a dinosaur bourbon?
Well,
yet?
when they sit and age for a long time, I mean, it's basically like a dinosaur bourbon.
Right. I still wonder too, like if there's
Like a classification.
if there's something like buried in like one of the warehouses that they forgot about since
Yeah.
like a billion years ago, or I'm pretty sure they probably picked them all through. But there's got to be one where they're like, let's forget about it.
Well, you guys
see what happens.
Yeah.
Ever had Habu Viper whiskey or whatever it is? They have it in Okinawa or in Japan.
I've never been to Japan.
And it's a venomous spider. I was there when I was in the Marine Corps, but venomous spider. They have it in the bottle, and you just drink straight from the bottle, and it's like a cinnamon spice whiskey.
Oh.
And I could be totally wrong about it being a whiskey. It's just I don't remember much of Okinawa, Japan.
But you remember
Because you
that.
had this venomous spider.
Had some of that. I was drinking a lot of Captain and Coke at the time.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. What year were you there?
08. No, 09.
Okay. What was your favorite memory or favorite part of it?
Oh man, I don't know. So many, just training with just hanging out with the boys, just doing like different training things. We got to travel, so like from Oki, we got to go to Thailand, Philippines, Australia. We were mainly in Okinawa, so we'd be in Oki for like a month and a half, and then we'd go to one of these other countries for a couple weeks and do some training, and then get back to Oki. So we weren't on ship the whole time, which made it fun. So you gotta like actually hang out at base, go around and explore Okinawa a little bit. It was a good time.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
All right. Any nose notes or taste notes of three?
Probably my favorite smell so far.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Getting like a lot of that like cinnamony, cocoa-y kind of notes off it. It's pleasant.
This one I'm getting like a caramel. But it's off the taste, not really off the nose.
I can't put my words to what the scent is reminding me of, but it is. I like it more pleasantly than the first one and two.
Okay.
I give it about a 5 on a heat.
Sure.
It's a little hotter than a little spicier than number 2. Not as spicy as number 1, but I will say that I felt it lingered longer with the heat than number 1 did. Like number 1 for me was hot, gone.
Right.
But it kicked up pretty high. Number 3 here is it was probably a good 10, 15 seconds, just kind of lingering on there at that spice level.
Yeah.
Felt good to me. I kind of like it quite a bit, actually.
I'm really
far.
enjoying
Yeah,
this
I think
one.
I'm really liking this one a lot so far. I think number 4 is going to have to put up some big remarks here for me to go that way at this point.
Any other thoughts on it yet?
What are you thinking over there?
I was just trying to think of like we got going on. Like the nose is really nice. It's cinnamon and cocoa-y. I enjoy that. I was getting that caramel off of the taste like you were talking about. But
I get it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like fades out into like a
yeah.
Werther's soft caramel on it, which is really, really nice. But I am still getting like that cocoa in there, almost like a brittle of some kind, where it's got like that sweet, but it's like a little savory at the same time. So I'm kind of getting that vibe off the palate. Generally, it seems pretty nice. Like proof point wise, it's pretty close to I think probably even, maybe slight proof plus, but like I wouldn't say like give or take the 4 or 5, whatever.
Sure.
But it's like right in that wheelhouse. But yeah, I think so far this is out of these ones we've tried, this one's probably the one I like the most so far.
Yeah.
Justin?
I like it. It's good. It reminds me of one. So I think it's also probably a rye. It's got like that cinnamon caramely taste with that slight little burn. So I enjoy that. It's nice. I like it. I would drink this more.
Yeah. And that is the hard truth.
There it is.
You always got to throw some cheesy stuff in there.
If you're not,
I just like how you've got the book.
And we'll get to that. Yeah. I think after this round.
they're extra punny, so I can't wait to hear some
Yeah.
of these.
Did you say extra funny or punny?
Punny.
It actually says punny.
Oh, punny.
So I actually just timed that. That took about 25, 30 seconds of. That's probably the longest lingerer of heat that I've tasted so far out of these. I mean, I just thought it was rather long. For a fun fact, I kind of timed it. It took about 25, 30 seconds of just kind of hanging out.
Which typically, if you're just hanging around drinking, you're waiting for that to diminish before you take another sip. So it's like it allows you to enjoy it longer.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Might be, one that just says, "Hey, enjoy me for a long time."
Exactly.
Have a good, just chill evening.
Yeah.
Hang out. So maybe one of the best so far for really having a more relaxed evening of socializing and watching a movie maybe or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be great for a movie because then you wouldn't have to get up as much.
Right.
Well, you can sip it and just let it linger in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Werther's.
Yeah, like a Werther's. That's like
I've heard that before.
Or a now and later.
It's got to be the caramel side of it.
A bourbon gobstopper.
It's everlasting.
Right?
Everlasting.
We got to patent all these ideas, by the way.
I know, right? It'd be very popular.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody would love it real much.
So going to 4, I'm getting a little something extra in it. It's almost like,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is.
On the what?
Just you're
Saying a little bit extra.
on kind of between the palate and the finish. So the taste to the finish, and maybe it's a little more wood to it. I don't know, but I'm getting something stringent, which is a good word we've
Yeah.
used lately.
Stringent.
Yeah.
I like that. Good vocab.
I steal it all from Adam. I actually have some marzipan here if we want to taste it too.
It's a flavor, man.
Adam just makes up words, or he just goes home and he reads a dictionary at night to be like, "Hey, how do I make the audience think
How do
I'm
you know
smart?"
what marzipan tastes like?
What the fuck if I know?
Well, I actually have some, so that's why. Because I don't know what it tastes like either. That's
How do you
why
know
I
what
like,
it tastes like when you don't even know what the word is? I've never heard the word in my life.
I think on the number 4, we're on 4, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
So like on the nose, I'm getting like that Werther's caramel a lot more on this one. But I'm also getting like a mellow grain that kind of comes in, like a sweet corn coming off the back end, which is enjoyable.
This one is a lot sweeter.
Yeah, and like the taste, I'm getting like a peppery, like a black peppercorn kind of leather oaky flavor, which would kind of be that stringency with that oaky. It's like that wood tannins coming out of it, and that like oaky, that leatheriness, which is kind of nice. That kind of hangs out and is pleasant. So that's kind of like I'm getting that. Same with the proof. I think the proof's probably plus-ish, somewhere in there. Like, it's not super plus. It's not like a barrel-proof Elijah Craig at like 126. It's like probably like 114-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah, just slightly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything here I would say is like distinctly proof pause.
Right.
Not distinctly, but I will say, again, with transparency, is I don't think any of them are under 100 as well.
Okay.
So
Oh, sure. Sure. It was very slow, very low. I think about like a almost gives me a mind of like a roast. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You make a roast, you cook it low and slow. It just comes out awesome at the end. And that's kind of the feel I get with this one. It starts real mellow, very mild. As far as heat for me, I'd put this at like a 1 or 2, very low. But then it just climbs a little bit. It climbs a little bit, but it's real low and slow. Real slow.
I think
to
4's
climb.
got a nice like little viscosity on your mouthfeel, where it kind of like coats your palate a little bit better, kind of hangs out a little bit longer, like those blue runs and stuff, where it's like, ooh, like this is different.
It's something I'd want to drink if I was just, cold winter day by a fireplace.
Sure.
The high back chair just sitting there.
yeah, no, yeah. These are both very tasty.
Yeah.
I agree.
I unfortunately, I think they had to go against each other in
Yeah.
this matchup.
So why don't we just kick out the other two and then call it? No.
Yeah, let's get
Well, like
Yeah,
I mean, in previous episodes, we do find out that when you go back to something, it does kind of stand up for itself. So
Yeah.
Well, there can only
it's
be
really
one
interesting.
winner.
Well, there can only be one winner today, right?
Correct.
To pair them up against a couple
Yeah.
other things later. But yeah, that I would agree that I actually liked both of those better than I liked 3 and 4 better than I liked 1 and 2. Both of them together.
yeah.
For sure.
Luck of the draw.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yep.
luck of the roll.
Way to go, Jason. Not Jason, Justin. Sorry.
It's all right. I've never seen a 3-sided die before.
I actually did you like
kinda
make it
scared me a little
yourself?
bit.
Like my God, I've never
I
even
didn't
heard
really,
of a 3-sided
I
die
should have
before.
thrown it a little harder.
It's
so
okay.
roll, 'cause I pretty much just dropped it right on
It's
one.
still chance, and we're not blaming you at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Dave just threw me under the
I know.
bus and called me Jason.
Well, he threw Jason under the bus, not
I
Justin.
just Jason, see, I was trying to look out. I was looking out for you, buddy.
My alter ego that doesn't know. how
I've
to
never
shake
even
die.
heard of a 3-sided. Did you make it yourself?
No.
I mean,
No, it's from gaming.
It has a
Top gaming.
It has a really nice
Okay.
weight.
like Magic the Gathering, not Magic the Gathering, but like Dungeons and Dragons and
Okay.
like those style of tabletop games.
Okay. What was
If we're here for another episode, I'll let you roll the 3-sided die.
Oh, I would be more than happy. I would
Okay.
be so excited.
Perfect.
Absolutely so excited. Sorry, I was going to change the topic, and I won't. We'll stay on point.
It's fine.
Well, you know what? That's one of the things they say about podcasts. It's such an open forum.
Yeah.
And this is really neat to be on one. I've never been on a podcast before, you guys. So thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. And of all things, to come out here and taste some amazing bourbons. By the way, everybody, all 4 of these bourbons are really good.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, obviously, only one can win, and you're gonna like some more than others. But no, really, really good bourbons.
Yeah, I might have misled you guys when I said it's out of Nashville, because it is out of Nashville, but it's Nashville, Indiana.
Oh,
What?
Well, I mean, MGP's from Indiana.
It was.
yes.
I did not know.
It's like, say, where are you from? Hollywood. Hollywood, Florida.
Right?
Memphis, Illinois.
Get out of here.
Miami, Ohio.
Our house is on Nassau Drive. And they're like, hey, I'm like, you guys do anything fun this week? I was like, yeah, I headed back to Nassau.
Nice.
There you go.
My wife rolls her eyes like, whatever, Josh.
This is going to be Josh's like 50-year-old running joke that he tells everybody. And if you've known him for, and every time someone's like, oh, where are you going? You're like, oh, he's going to say it again.
No, we'll end up shooting a video, podcast episode from his house, like live from Nassau.
Yeah. I love it.
You know who has the best dad jokes? So who was here like a couple months ago? Mike.
Yeah.
And he is like, when it's 2:30, he does all the time without fail. Like,
When's your dentist appointment?
Yeah, when's your dentist appointment? Why do you say that? My 2:30.
Well, maybe we should let Mike just tell it all the time.
That was rough.
We'll have to bring him back. Speaking of Mike, the Lions are playing today, so
Yeah.
my phone is getting blown up.
Is he a Lions fan? I'm guessing. That's
So Mike is my brother-in-law,
okay.
to be.
Brother-in-law to be.
All right, so he's engaged to my wife's sister. So
Okay.
His ex-girlfriend.
well, that was one. I told you guys that one too.
Wait, what? Is that real? Wait, what? Is that real?
Well, right. Like, so your fiance is your ex-girlfriend.
Because she's now your fiance.
That's right. God, I get my wife with that all the time. Like, yeah, it was my ex-girlfriend.
Right?
She's like, what ex? I was like, you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, oh, that's okay. Got it. Sure.
All right, back to the task at hand. What do we think?
This is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I agree. My comment of I think that was going to take it. Number 4 was going to have to do something pretty miraculous to.
And in your eyes, did it do something miraculous?
I think it did. I honestly think I like number 4 more than number 3, and I'm kind of shocked by that.
All right. Well, that's a good testament right there. I'll go. I kind of jumped over to 3. Just, I don't know, that caramel really got to me. I really enjoyed that caramel, and I'm a big fan of caramel or kind of brown sugary type of notes out of a bourbon. Even though it might not be a bourbon, it might be just a rye whiskey, but I don't differentiate between that. I just go for the taste, so I'm going with the caramel.
Sure.
So which one are you going with?
3. Thank you.
There we go.
Yeah, I thought he said that right off. I thought he said that.
Well,
Yeah, but you were listening.
I was paying attention.
He insinuated,
what Josh is doing over
but he
here.
didn't explicitly say it. So I'll just try
We need the hard answers here.
We need the hard truth. You want the truth? You know, you should. Well, we don't want to get like shut down, but like if we could throw in
Copyright.
Yeah, let's not say
from
copyright.
a few good men.
10 or
Right.
15 seconds, don't you?
Yeah,
You can't handle the truth.
yeah. Justin,
Do it.
I'm gonna go with 3 on this one. They were both really, really good, and like I said, like I could drink 4, on a cold winter night by a fire all the time. But 3, like Todd was saying, I have a bad sweet tooth, so as soon as I can taste that caramel in there, I want more of it.
Yeah, number 3 was very sweet.
Yeah.
I like number 4.
It's always coming down to Josh.
unintentional.
Yeah,
Well, birthday boy here.
Yeah.
There you go. He gets to be the deciding factor.
Yeah, the leathery kind of oaky note was kind of refreshing because we've been dealing with a lot more like spices and caramels and stuff, and then to get back to some of that oaky stuff, it's been kind of nice. So
Down to me. We'll have to switch this up for the next one. Liked 4, thought it was good.
That's not a good start.
3 had I preferred the smell for 3, and the taste for 4 was very good. But I think 3 for me was the full thing.
So here's the 3.
Here's the 3.
All right. We're going to discuss what 1 and 4 was. So the first one we tasted was bottle 1. And who can remind us some of the notes we kind of talked about with that? maybe some chocolate,
Dark cocoa.
cocoa.
Yeah.
Some rye, kind of a higher proof, maybe.
Yeah, that malt, that kind of chocolatey malt.
Chocolate malt, huh?
Yeah. There you go. Look at that.
You knew that was coming, didn't you?
Kind of did. I kind of tasted some chocolate on it.
Yeah.
And knowing what some of the options were as far as a chocolate malt, that's kind of why I brought it up. It's a batch size of 13 barrels and is a sweet mash rye. So sweet mash means they start fresh with every batch with their grain bill.
How often do distilleries reuse mash?
Those are called sour mash. So that
Like
can
a
happen all the
sourdough.
time.
It's
Yeah.
very often then.
Yeah. So it can happen for like a lot of bourbons are sour mash bourbons, which they always reuse their stuff.
Isn't that Jack Daniels big? Did they do a sour mash? Jack Daniels is big on a sour mash, and that they're like
I think
number
they are.
seven.
They
Sour
have
mash.
one. It just to keep also helps keep it more even across their profile line, and because like as you just keep cooking the same product over and over, like little bits of it all tries to be more congruent with the next batch, so you have less variation.
Yeah, okay.
So this is one of the first bottles that I've seen that actually has chocolate like as part of the marketing material.
Without being flavor added.
Right.
Right. Well, I mean, we did have that winter whiskey, which did have some chocolate malt oat type stuff. So that had a little bit in it.
I mean, but this is pretty out there. It's a sweet mash and then chocolate malt.
Never mind.
The proof on this is 114.9.
Ooh, wow.
114.8. Sorry. I have my glasses on and everything, and I still can't see.
Time for the bifocal.
Yeah, no kidding.
There you
The
go.
mash bill is a rye, corn, and chocolate malt. It brings notes of espresso, dark cocoa, and sweet cream to the nose.
That's that malt.
Buttered brownie, toffee, rye spice, and dried fruit on the palate, and a finish of dark roasted coffee, pepper, and oak.
Do you taste the double platinum in there too?
It's a double platinum at the American Spirits Award. So that was tasty,
Looks good.
but it didn't win.
It's crazy. It looks so much darker in the bottle.
It does.
Like a lot more darker in the bottle.
Yeah.
Are we ready for the next one?
And I'm guessing this is going to be the double oak.
Wow, he even called it sweet mash rye double oaked. So the last one was 13 barrels. This is 16 barrels. I mean, these are really small batches.
They are small batches, yeah.
I mean, we've seen small batch, and small batches, are totally different for.
We don't want to get Todd started on small batch again.
We discussed it in a previous episode. And I got shut down by Adam.
Dumped 524, new oak, alcohol 106.9. So this is a little bit less.
Yeah.
About 6% less than the other one.
Yeah.
Incredibly rich, decadent. New oak barrels presented at cask strength. Brown County, Indiana.
106.9 is their cask strength?
So they say.
Yeah, apparently. I think this is 5 years, too. Because it says it's aged over 3 additional years. So that's why the double oaked.
Oh, aged over 5.
Yeah, so some decent age in there.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of double oaked. Angel's Envy just came out with one.
Woodford's double oak now is going to be distributed nationally. It's supposed to be like $200 MSRP, so I probably won't buy one, but
Right.
if you find one.
That's awesome. Well, we gotta find it.
The
Yeah, we do.
double.
Yeah.
Doubled.
Got
I
it.
like
The
these
double.
bottle tops.
They remind me of Groot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're I am top.
Right. I am Groot.
Alrighty.
Well, actually, you know what the answer really is.
That's mine?
That one's yours. Yeah. Okay.
Bourbon.
Bourbon.
Yes. All right, so we'll go to
Cool.
2 and 3.
Two
I'm going to
versus
head back over to
Alright.
2. And I am going to randomly open up this dad jokes book and just randomly pick one. Says, interviewer, can you perform under pressure? The applicant, no, but I can do a pretty good Bohemian Rhapsody. Can you perform under pressure?
Under pressure.
There we go. That's a dad joke. So we'll move it over to Justin to randomly pick one.
We all get to pick
Oh,
one?
yeah.
Oh, this is great. I'm so excited. I'm even happier now.
Yeah, and they're extra punny.
All right.
I'm the most punny.
Oh, this seems like a long one. Can I change the page? Is there short ones?
What?
You can do whatever you want.
All right.
Like, that's a lot of words.
It was a lot of words. I didn't get it.
He's like, I don't want to read that much. I didn't know I had to read today.
All right.
I've been drinking.
What kind of dog swims the best?
Which kind of dog?
Which? What kind of dog swims the best?
Which
Yeah, he's asking which one.
A lap dog.
Oh, yeah, that's a dad joke.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's cut thick on the end here.
There we go.
What has a bottom at the top?
My bourbon glass.
Your legs.
A bottom at the top.
Winning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That
Josh
is.
reached over there. There we go.
Old man noises. Just
Right.
There is a warning, you guys. Before you should let your viewers
That is
know
true.
that there's a warning.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're protecting your viewers. You care about them this time. Warning: eye rolling, side splitting jokes may lead to laughter and groans.
He doesn't even have to open the book and say a dad joke. I like it.
Pretty
So
good.
now you
delivery.
guys are warned. You better be careful. You
Yeah.
guys are warned. You better be careful. All right, let's see. Kid. Am I on the right? Yeah, kid. Can I leave the table? Dad, where are you going to leave it?
That's a good
I'm
one.
using that one as soon as I get home. As soon as I get home tonight, my kid is going to I'm actually going to have to ask him to ask, because this is my kid is 4 and 2.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't even ask it. He just jumps down from
so
the
is
chair
he
and runs
6,
away.
or is you have one at 4 and one at 2?
I have one. Yeah, he lived 4 years, then I allowed him another 2.
He's double oaked.
Yeah, he's a double kidded.
He's
double kidded.
He's double. There you go.
Yeah.
No, I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And
Okay.
4-year-old, they just, neither one of them. I have to, 3 times per dinner, I have to just get out of my chair and chase them down and put them back in their chair.
Oh. I have a 13 and a 15-year-old, and it's just get off your phone and finish your dinner. Usually, it's yeah.
You know what? I have one really good eater and a terrible eater.
Mine will both do pretty good usually. But my son has a tendency to just like eat while he's on his phone, not pay attention, and then just grab
drop
more
stuff
and then eats it,
everywhere.
and then just like walks off, leaving his table and his plate and everything just chilling.
You just
and it's
want
like
to look at him and go, whack.
I do. I just go
What are
like
you doing?
as he's walking away.
Where are you going? He doesn't
Yeah.
even realize you look.
No, he's just there.
All right, let's get these dads back to these dad jokes.
This is a good time to announce that we're actually going to do a spin-off podcast. Is led by
Dad jokes? Is that
Dave and Adam, Life of Dads. Why does Santa have 3 gardens?
Why?
So he can ho ho ho.
Well, now I know he has 3 gardens. I never knew he had 3.
Does he have 3 hoes? Yeah.
What's that?
That reminds me.
Don't let Mrs. Claus figure out.
He's got to have one at each garden.
Yeah.
He's got
That
3
reminds me
hoes.
of The Office. I don't know if you guys ever saw it. It was a Christmas episode one where he walks in, there's 3 women and a guy, and he comes in and he goes, ho, 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 pimp.
That's a good one. That's a knee slapper.
Favorite part of that is what you said. You got to save bandit. Jumps a cat up into the ceiling of the whole office building.
That was a hilarious show.
Speaking of Santa Claus, what do you guys think of number 2?
All right, that you know what? 2 always makes me think of Santa Claus too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh's famous segues. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, talking about the sun. What about number 2?
Yeah. Exactly.
'Cause we have
Speaking of
2 of
water,
Yeah.
speaking of bagels,
I'm actually getting lower proof off of 2 than
Yeah.
I did originally, and I'm getting more proof off of number 3 than I did originally.
I'm getting more flavor off of 2 by removing 1.
Yeah.
So like 2 I thought was muted initially, but it's not. There's actually some pretty good flavor in there.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
3 seems almost more sweet the second round than it did the first round.
It does. Which is, I think, what it was going against. I think it was going with that double oak, so
Yep.
it kind of stood up against that potential stringency.
Yeah.
And just seemed a little, not as sweet as it does now, where it's going up against a lower proof.
All right, I know what I'm picking.
Yeah, I know too.
Do you want to go first so you don't have to be the tiebreaker?
Yeah.
I will go first. Before I came back to these, I would have said 3 for sure. Going back to 2, it actually performed a lot stronger than I thought it would have. That said, 3, sweet. I like that sweetness, smoothness. I think the best smell of the batch. So I'm going with number 3.
Okay.
I'm going to go with number 3 too. I think that the it's a little bit sweeter. I'm getting a lot more of those like those chocolatey, caramely notes, like really singing out, and the finish stays sweet as we kind of continue through it. So I enjoy that one a lot. So 3.
Awesome. Todd or tiebreaker?
Well, we got 2 other people.
Oh, sorry.
I'll go number.
Justin?
Justin.
I agree. I thought 2 was much better this time around.
Yeah.
A lot more flavor. I felt like it wasn't as muted, but 3 for me still wins. I like what Josh said about the sweetness. It just goes down easy.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised at my answer here. Well, the first time I tried number 3, boom, it shot out. I thought it was fantastic. But going up against 2 and 3 together, so close together on those, I think I'm actually going to flip and go 2.
Okay.
I think 2. I think I just like the lower heat that it has compared to this one, and I think I'm going 2.
Yeah, I think, and that's why I think when we were making comments where it's like, 3 and 4 should have been the winners.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no. When you go back to things, they do taste different, and this is exactly this case. I mean, I agree. Going back to 2, it's like, this really nice, good flavor profile, good proof level, and it's enjoyable. But I will also go with 3 because of I think the caramel in it and just the higher proof in it. I'm a big fan of it, so I went with 3.
3 it is.
Here's the 3.
Nice
Number
work.
3.
We got it.
Cheers.
Salute.
All
Eye
right.
contact. See me.
Right.
No one blink.
So we're gonna bring 2 and 3 out. So the first one to get knocked out was the 4-grain Bottle and Bond, or was it? Mm-hmm. It was the 4-grain Bottle and Bond, which was 100 proof. And thank you, Josh. Now, so far, what I'm looking at is they do have different mash bills. This one says mash bill 4, and the chocolate said mash bill 3, and that one says
RW1.
Okay, so that's a different mash bill. So this is mash bill 4, and I think this other one's going to be the same mash bill of one of them, because I know there was 2 duplicate mash bills, and I don't know exactly what that means, other than it's going to be one will have more corn profile in it, more rye, and that kind of stuff. So this is the straight bourbon whiskey. This is the only bourbon that we had in the bunch, and this is a batch of 28 barrels.
Well, there you go. I only like bourbon, so bourbon is the answer for me.
It's
my most favorite.
It's tasty. It is tasty. And then the winner,
Here we go.
we came over to, Josh.
Hard Truth.
That is the hard truth.
I had a feeling Hard Truth would win today.
Sweet mash rye. Wow. Straight rye whiskey, uncut, unfiltered, batch number 2, batch size 10 barrels.
Wow, small soup.
Is that a small batch then?
I would assume that's a small batch.
It's a caramel malt, mash bill 4,
Guys called out that caramel.
116.6 proof, rye, corn, caramel malt. Bring the notes of shortbread, vanilla, custard to the nose with rich caramel, mocha, maple, sweet cream, and rye spice on the palate, and a warm finish with custard, apple, and oak. Yeah, I'm just gonna go out and say this is my ideal type of bourbon.
Yeah.
Or in this instance, a rye. Just really strong. I'm a huge fan.
I concur. I think so too.
Well, for the health conscious like yourself, Josh.
Right.
That's a rye for you, buddy.
Adam brings.
Did you say the proof on this?
116.6.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, but
Just thinking about how good it was.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, guys, what do you think?
I think it's pretty good. I wish they would put the caramel and the chocolate malt together.
Well, we could.
you could.
No, I'm saying like when you make it.
Oh, sure.
Well, yeah, but you
Because, we could do that right
You
now.
just do it.
Because I wish we could do that. Oh, guess what? We can.
And it's done.
We have both of them.
Well, cheers.
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome.
Cheers.
We're happy you're here too, and we're happy that you're all watching or listening to this episode right now. Please tune in on our next episode. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next episode.
Awesome.